Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be going over Tesla stock and why I believe it's going to be the largest company on earth. Now before we get into it, if you could smash the like button, it really helps the YouTube channel and the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Let's get into this. First, I want to go over that Tesla is a battleground stock. This stock has grown incredible over the last few years, and there's a lot to unpack about it. But before getting into those details, I think it's important to go over a little bit of my history with the stock. For starters, I've been a shareholder of Tesla since 2018. I also happen to drive a Tesla, so I have personal experience using their products, and I'm on my second Tesla now, waiting for my third, the new Model S refresh. Now, I've bought and sold shares more times than I can honestly count, and I've held a position in Tesla regardless throughout from 2018 until today. I've always had Tesla in my account, but I have at times for earnings or different things bought in a lot of shares, sold some shares after a big jump, rebought them, etc. But I've always held a position. Now I picked a random statement from my Robinhood account from 2019, and as you can see in the screenshot, I bought 500 shares on July 24th, 2019 for $238.39. Now, keep in mind that was pre-split, so that would be $47.87 a share in today's stock price for Tesla. Obviously, the stock is over $600 a share now. It hit an all-time high that was even over $900. And another thing to note is that when I have a high conviction in a stock, I go into that stock very strongly. I noticed this account statement in 2019 showed that at the time in this specific Robinhood account, I held over 69% of the entire account in Tesla. And this isn't my only account, but in all my other accounts, I held Tesla as well. So I was very, very deeply in Tesla stock because I had such a high conviction in that stock. So why am I showing you these 2019 screenshots and what I did in 2019? The reason I'm doing it is because I think too many people like to talk about a company after it's already went up. And although this is a brand new YouTube channel, I think it's important to be transparent with the viewers about when you become bullish on a stock, not just, oh, the stock went up, let me talk about it now, and here's what I think about it. So I pulled this chart up just to show you. The screenshots were from July 2019, so I brought the pointer to July 2019, and as you can see from then till now, we've had over 1,300% gain. This is before the hype, before the split, before Tesla joined the S&P 500. And more importantly than just before these things, this was in a time when every article that came out about Tesla basically looked like this. Tesla's day of reckoning is near as its plunging stock increases financing risk. Tesla's the biggest short in the US stock market. Tesla could be the most dangerous stock on Wall Street, investment researcher says. Tesla's in a bubble and it's going down, top fund manager says. Jim Chano says we think Tesla's worth $0. Tesla shares could drop to $10 in a worst case scenario, Morgan Stanley says. You get the point. Basically, every single quarter, the bears would have another excuse for why Tesla is not going to survive. First, it was they had no money and they wouldn't be able to raise any money. Then it was there's no demand and no one could buy the cars that they're going to produce. Next, it was that competition was coming, and they said that every single year. Yet to see the competition. Lastly, bears say it's just a car company and it's nothing more. Now, almost every one of those points has been proved to be wrong. But financially, bears are going to look at Tesla and just say, look at the numbers. It's overvalued. Now, this is the one point you can't argue with if you're looking at today and today only. But any good investor needs to be able to look out to the future and make assumptions. So that is exactly what we are going to do here. So let's go over why I think Tesla will be the largest company on earth. Well, the first piece of this puzzle starts with revenue. So what companies today have the highest revenue is what I first asked. And when I looked into this, I found out that 7 of the top 9 companies by revenue are either auto companies or energy companies. And Tesla competes in both auto and the energy market. And as you can see in this photo, 1 through 9, 7 of 9 are auto or energy companies. So I point that out to show that Tesla probably has one of the largest total addressable markets of any company. Next, I want to go over a long-term production target that Elon Musk gave and achieved. In the beginning, everyone called Tesla just a startup striving for a dream. But despite naysayers, Musk in 2014 predicted that the company would be able to produce 500,000 cars in 2020. In September of 2014, in an interview with Fox Business, he said, in quotes, "I feel confident that we will be able to achieve at least 500,000 cars a year by 2020. A year later, in 2015, during a conference call with investors, Musk repeated his forecast again. "I do remain confident about 500,000 cars in 2020 and maybe being able to exceed that." So Elon Musk was able to predict what production Tesla would have 6 years into the future. In 2014, he predicted what 2020 production target will look like for Tesla. Now, this is important because in 2014, everyone assumed Elon was crazy and Tesla would never hit that target. And today, everyone says the same thing about the target he's given for 2030. So, Elon Musk predicts 20 million Tesla cars sold per year in 2030 or sooner. Elon Musk wrote 7 years for sure to 30 million plus new fully electric vehicles per year, 6 years maybe, 5 years is possible but unlikely, and an extra year makes a giant difference when it comes to exponentials. And somebody wrote Elon confirmed 30 million Tesla vehicles before 2030. Now Elon corrected him and said that's total market, not all Teslas for electric vehicles, but he said that we do see Tesla reaching 20 million vehicles a year probably before 2030. But it requires consistently excellent execution, which is exactly what we've been getting from Tesla and their team. So the next piece of evidence is that Elon has said multiple times that Tesla is going to grow deliveries by about 50% per year until 2030, over many years. And he said that the earlier years of those years will be much higher than 50%, and the later years will probably be less, but it will average out to 50% per year. And in the latest earnings report, they wrote this about guidance. "We plan to grow our manufacturing capacity as quickly as possible. Over a multi-year horizon, we expect to achieve 50% average annual growth in vehicle deliveries. In some years, we may grow faster, which we expect to be the case in 2021. So they continue to reiterate their guidance. Now, so what happens when you get 50% growth in deliveries? Well, I just put this out so you can see from 2020, 500,000 cars delivered, to 2030, if you did 50% increase in deliveries each year, you end up at 28.8 million in 2030. But you end up basically at 19 million in 2029. So as you can see, he's expecting about 20 million vehicles around that time, which lines up with what he said and the growth trajectory. Now, something I think people need to keep in mind is many people doubt his predictions. But the thing is, everything he says he's going to do, he ends up doing. He may be off on the timing, but it gets done. And do you really think that a man that was able to send a rocket to space and have it come back and land on a pad floating in the ocean is not able to do the math behind what his company's production capacity is going to be a few years later? I mean, I'm just saying, the guy is an engineering genius. And I'm not going to be the one betting against his predictions on production capacity. So anyways, let's go over some of the numbers. So going over them, these are the 2030 assumptions I'm making. The 20 million cars sold at an average selling price of $35,000. That gives you $700 billion in auto revenue. 30% gross margins. Elon said that they're going to be able to get 30% gross margins. Their current automotive gross margin is 26.5%, would leave them with an auto gross profit of $210 billion. Now, one of the reasons their gross margins are going to be so much higher than most is because, one, they sell direct to consumer. There's no middleman, no dealerships, something all other auto companies have a huge problem with going into the future. Now, they also have insane vertical integration, unlike anything I've ever seen. So if we look back, the king of vertical integration, in my opinion, was Apple. But today, it has clearly become Tesla. They have taken things to a new extreme. Now, If you haven't seen Autonomy Day or Battery Day from Tesla, I urge you to do so if you're interested in owning this stock or holding it. These two events they did, you really should understand and watch. I am going to put links to both of those videos in the description, so when you have your own time to watch them, I highly recommend it. It will really show you how they go above and beyond what any other automaker is even remotely thinking about doing. Now, back to the numbers. So 210 billion in gross profits from auto. Now, rather than trying to predict what the energy, autonomy, solar, app store, battery storage, supercharging, powertrain licensing, etc. is going to make in profits, because yes, these things are going to be extremely profitable in the long run, especially the software side with margins that are going to make these auto margins look laughable. Instead of that, for this video, we're going to assume that all other parts of Tesla do nothing other than one thing for the profits, and that is pay the operational expenses to run the company so the gross margins of auto can drop to the bottom line. So what I'm saying is that all expenses Tesla have are going to be covered by the profits from the energy business, the FSD self-driving software, the app store that's in the car that's coming, the supercharging, everything else Tesla gets into. By those businesses paying for all operational expenses, it would allow the gross profits from auto, the $210 billion, to drop down to net income. So Tesla in 2030, $210 billion in net income, a PE of 20, has a 2030 market cap of 4.2 trillion if there's a 20 PE on 210 billion in net income. Now a 20 PE is lower than all other big tech has right now, but that said, it's going to be such a big company by then, I think a fair price to earnings would be 20. So is it possible to really hit 4.2 trillion? I mean, you do your math, but if Elon Musk's predictions come true, it seems pretty clear to me they will. Now, Tesla will be, in my opinion, the largest company in the world. Now, to those people that say, oh, 4 trillion, that's insane, you should keep in mind that before a company ever was a $100 billion company, no one thought it was possible to be $100 billion. Before we had a company that hit $1 trillion in market cap, it seemed unreachable. Today we have companies that are trillion-dollar companies. Today we have companies that don't really make any money, no profits at all, and raise at multi-billion-dollar valuations. So in the future, do I believe we're going to have more trillion-dollar companies and we'll have a company even possibly at $10 trillion? I do. I think that the future is heading that way. So the thing to keep in mind, if Tesla really will be able to execute properly, is pace of innovation. The thing about Tesla is Elon Musk made it clear that the most important thing for them is pace of innovation. That Tesla will out-innovate, continue to constantly innovate at a pace that, in my opinion, no one will be able to compete with. This is super important because Elon Musk doesn't believe in moats. He believes a moat isn't needed if you constantly are out-innovating yourself. What this makes me believe is that in 2030, Tesla's going to have products that today we can't have even predicted are coming. There's plenty of ample upside to my predictions. Elon has spoke about making home HVAC systems and eVTOLs, electrical vertical takeoff and landing. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they get into fully sustainable smart homes and disrupt the home building market. So here's a chart of superchargers. Tesla's going to own the future of the gas stations of the world, which are electric charging stations. Their supercharger stations are growing quarter over quarter like crazy, and they are the only, like, no one I know wants to buy an electric vehicle that's not a Tesla, because then they wouldn't have access to the supercharger station. Well, Elon Musk said that they're going to be soon opening it up to other automakers, and this is basically going to make it that they own the worldwide charging network that I believe every vehicle is going to use, because every other charging network is just so fragmented that it just doesn't make sense to use. It's not a great product. You get to it and it doesn't charge fast. It's a slow charger. There's just plenty of issues. Superchargers, basically, they just beat everything else, and Elon Musk is not letting off the throttle on increasing more and more of them to basically have them worldwide. You will never need to worry about where to charge. And I've done road trips from New York to Miami with my Tesla, and the supercharger network is the only reason I even considered doing it, and it was easy with that network. Next is Tesla FSD. So when Tesla solves full self-driving, Elon said that Tesla is going to operate a robo-taxi fleet. Now ask yourself this question: Would you rather have an Uber driver you don't know pick you up in his crappy car, or would you rather spend less than half the price on a Tesla picking you up and not having to worry about a stranger, while knowing that the stats will show that the car is going to be 10 times safer than a human driver and only continue to keep getting safer? Tesla's going to be able to charge far less than an Uber due to no driver and no gas. And another selling point for Tesla selling cars with this robotaxi system will be that Tesla is allowing Tesla owners to put their cars on the Tesla network. So when a Tesla owner is not using their own car, they could send it out, it would go do autonomous taxi drives, and it will make the owner money. And of course, Tesla will take their own cut, I think something like 30–40%. Now, this might be far away from reality, but it's clearly what Elon Musk has his sights on, and we know when he wants to get something done, he gets it done. It's just a matter of time. So in my opinion, Tesla will win autonomy. To win the biggest AI problem in the world, you need a ton of data, and no one anywhere has anything close to the amount of data that Tesla collects. Every time a customer buys a Tesla, they're driving on roads with that car. The car's cameras all around it are collecting data, which then trains the fleet. And for those that don't know, Tesla obviously has their FSD chip. To those that are unaware, the FSD and vertical integration, Tesla takes those things so serious that they developed their own FSD chip. This is the first of many to come, and the man that led the project, Peter Bannon, is the same man that led the Apple Silicon project to create the first Apple chip for the iPhone. So what does the future look like? Well, in my opinion, Teslas are not cars. They are computers on wheels. I believe the auto market represents the same situation we had with smartphones. Everyone used to have a different phone, just like today everyone has a different car. But over time, iPhone changed what it meant to be a smartphone. And at first, many people didn't want to get an iPhone. They wanted to keep their Blackberries. They said they would never give up a physical keyboard. Does it sound familiar? I mean, people don't want to give up their gas cars. They don't want a touch screen right now in their car. I mean, it's obvious to me gas cars / dumb cars will be replaced. If your car doesn't have software that can be updated and it's not using the newest technologies in powertrains and battery chemistry, I mean, it's just going to get outdated. So a lot of you are asking, what do I think the stock's worth right now? And for me, I think giving Tesla a fair value price, looking at a 1 to 2 years out, is a very hard thing to do. And for that reason, I don't try to do it. Unlike analysts, I can take a 5 to 10 year timeline and decide a long-term thesis and buy in based off that thesis and continuously check on it. So for me, based on my belief that Tesla still has the potential to 10x from today's price, it's clearly a buy. That said, is it possible we see the price go from the 600s to the 400s in the next year? It could happen. So I wouldn't buy Tesla today unless you have a long-term thesis. But that said, here are some 12-month price targets from analysts that I believe understand the company. Alex Potter, $1,200 price target. Dan Ives, $1,000 price target. Peter Ferragu, $900 price target. And Kathy Wood at ARK Invest has a 2025 price target of $3,000. 3,000 shares, about $3 trillion in market cap for Tesla. So her projection actually makes my 4.2 trillion market cap not look that bad, considering that my market cap is for 2030, hers is for 2025. So it's a 5-year out difference. So the next thing I just want to let you know is Tesla has Q2 2021 earnings coming tomorrow. Their earnings are July 26th. I wanted to get this video out before earnings so you can see our position on the company. We're going to make a video and upload it shortly after earnings are released, and we possibly might instead just live stream the earnings. We're still deciding which one, but expect one or the other. Now, if you haven't liked the video yet, please like it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you all. Until tomorrow.